create content that inspires you? Talent that is simply too dope to describe? Welcome to Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV is a live monthly variety show that showcases people's greatness through narratives and artistic expression.
We're back with a brand new season of content that will uplift your soul.
Tune into our live episodes here on BNN TV or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all our latest news. We hope that you'll tune in.
Illowid Holler, where am I?
Yeah, love is in the colors, don't be colorblind. Seen the wonders in your butter and your cocoa lines. Oh, won't you tell us how you're thankful in the summertime? Won't you tell us how you're thankful in the summertime?
Fahrenheit TV.
Hi Fahrenheit TV and welcome to another virtual episode. My name is Farah June. I am the host and producer of this growing platform and I'm so excited to see you and be here with one of our extraordinary guests this month, Aaron Bates. I know it's the month of August and you know it's summertime and I've been bumping to Aaron Bates' newest EP, Pollen, and I'm so excited to have him on our show this month to talk about his greatness, really, to talk about the genius behind his work, you know, his inspirations, his aspirations, and just to kind of check in on you and, you know, see how you're doing this summer. So, Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me so much. That's my first official interview ever.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to me because I actually paid attention to the show. I'm just like, wow, like my boy Kareem, actually, you know Kareem?
Yeah, I love Kareem.
Yeah, that's my boy. Me and him went to the same school.
Oh my gosh, such a small world.
We graduated at the same time. Well, Boston is small.
Yeah,
but
Boston
that's
is
a
small.
whole. So, but yeah, we graduated together and shit like that. Like, can I cuss? By the way, I'm not sure if I can cuss.
Oh, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Okay,
I can always bleep it or whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
But I'm really excited to have you on the show because I've been a fan from afar, and I think this summer I really had the chance to really listen to not only your latest EP but your other EPs. I mean, you've been releasing a project like literally every year since like 2017. So I'm a freshman into your world, but I am really grateful to be in the school of Aaron Bates and just learning a little bit more about, you know, you and not only you as an artist but you as a person, you as a Black man in this world. Like I love the different topics and themes and stuff that, you know, your music covers. But before we get into that, I just kind of wanted to check in on you. You know, as you know, we're living and trying to survive this current pandemic. It's changed it's changed our world in many different ways. You know, there's a lot of different emotions throughout it. So I just kind of wanted to check in on you and see how you're doing and how, hopefully how you've been trying to find peace, you know, during the season.
Yo, honestly, I'm not gonna say here a lot. I lost a lot of weight during the COVID. Like, I lost all the hard work I put in the gym. Like,
no.
But it's all good. It's all good. It happens. Life happens. You know, at the end of the day, life happens.
As long as you're healthy. As long as you're healthy.
Yeah, I was actually very healthy. And then I went to California.
Oh, nice.
Actually, yeah, and had an amazing time there. Actually. It was really my first time ever in California. I was in the Bay Area actually.
Oh, oh, I love the Bay Area. And the Bay Area has some of the best music. So it's like it feels fitting that you would be there. It's like you need to be there. You got to be part of that community in that world.
And Black Panthers was there. I visited all the spots they was at. Yeah,
oh my God,
I mean, the funny thing is the Alameda. So they have the Alameda courthouse, and right across from the Alameda courthouse is Huey Newton's penthouse where he stayed at.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I visited the traffic stop that the traffic light that they put up, the schools they helped create. I just wanted to soak in and all that, and just enjoy my time there.
I think that's especially incredible, especially now because, you know, like we're surviving 2 pandemics, right? Like racism and COVID-19. And so like being able to see that black freedom, that black liberation, you know, those leaders that were like fighting for us so hard, and you know that we've taken some of their influence and continuing that fight, because you know it is a long battle, right? It's like it's an ongoing long battle. So I think that's beautiful and incredibly empowering that you were able to be around that energy and to see that history.
The people there are amazing. Like, a lot of people don't know this, maybe because they never stepped out of Boston or Massachusetts, but the white people in the East Coast are totally different from the white people in the West Coast. Like in the Bay Area, I should say specifically, because I've never been nowhere else so far besides Florida, but we all know Florida has their own country. That's
they're
their own people. Something about them something about Florida people is different. I still love y'all, but y'all are different.
I agree. I love them, but I don't understand, I should say. You know?
Nobody. We're not supposed to understand. I firmly believe we're not supposed to understand Florida people, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like you accepted it.
Business. Yeah, ain't my business what goes on Florida. And they're the nicest people in the world.
They are so nice, so cool. Like I have friends from there and everything, but I don't think I would ever be able to live there because it's not my world.
I can't live there. But back to the Bay, the people there, they were very supportive. Like my first day there, I had a show there as well. It was an amazing experience. Everybody was just so nice, kind, and people. And over there, you actually can have those conversations about black issues and issues about the world, the government, all that over there, and them not feel attacked. Like they're aware of their privilege, unlike most white people, especially in the East Coast. And Boston specifically is one of the most racist cities. You know, a lot of people don't know that.
For sure. We're very
unless you are from Boston. Unless you are from Boston, you'll never know how racist this city is.
No. Because they project it so well in the mainstream, like, you know, we're the most, like, you know, because we're the place where a lot of people got their freedom, but they weren't really free. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
it wasn't
freedom.
Really free.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's very secret and it's very fake, unfortunately. So I'm glad that you said that, because I think people need to know that there's nowhere, unfortunately, safe where racism doesn't exist, especially in America.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact is that that's all I like bringing in my music. I'm not shying away from none of that. And I even call out people like from growing up in my part. I call myself out too. Like I call myself out in my music too, as well as like I even have issues like that. Like you grow up, like you're a product of your environment type. Like a lot of people, even artists, and yes, a lot of artists from my city are very selfish as well, or like they only mess with a certain type of people because like they only know them. But like other people who want to get put on, it's like nah, like you want to do a feature? Nope, I'm not doing that because
it's very cliquey. You are very right about that. It's very cliquey.
It's like, bro, your fans will become my fans will become your fans. Like help people out. So like I went to California. It was like a different experience. Like after I did the show, people came like, yo, I want you to do this song with me. And you know in Boston, they say that, but they don't follow up with you. They'll say it, but don't follow up with you with that. I said, all right, cool, whatever. I didn't believe it. They really followed up with me. And they like, I guess it features. I was just like, yo, this is like an amazing experience. I didn't think that would happen so soon. So I just come, and I know I want the city to be put on the map. I know I want to put the city on the map because I want the voiceless to be voiced. That's always been my thing, because I never feel like I had a voice growing up. You know, I come from a very bad background, or like not a really great background. And I want to bring that light. I want to share my stories, my faults, my insecurities, my selfishness, my bad times, or my good times, or their stories, their bad times, everything. Like I just want to share their stories with their consent. Obviously, I have to ask.
Yeah, of course.
I do want to tell the stories of other people in my music because I want them to be heard just as much as I want to be heard. That's the only reason why I want to hit mainstream, because of the fact that I want people to understand, like, if he can make it, like if he's one of these artists, there must be other artists like him in the city like this.
For sure, for sure.
And that's my goal. Like I want to make sure that everybody has a voice, and I see, like, I want to tell their stories. I want to make sure that everybody gets their stuff on the map. Because at the end of the day, you can make a trap song, you can make whatever song you want, but like, what message are you really conveying at the end of the day? At least in my opinion. Like, I'm not trashing anybody's music. Like, you make your music, Like, if I like it,
there's a greater sense of responsibility. Yeah.
I feel like to me, I feel like I have a responsibility, not them. I feel like I have a responsibility because I'm like, I can't sit and act like I'm all high and mighty. I'm not. I'm far from it. I just want to make sure that the people understand that I'm here because not just for myself, but for y'all. Like, I'm not just doing it just for myself. This is for everybody as well. Like, I want y'all to know, like, once I'm at the mainstream, I'm going to give back. Like, once I get where I need to be, and save, do all this. I'm coming back. I'm buying my neighborhood, my grandfather's crib. I'm buying a lot of stuff and make sure like I help the community. That's been my goal. Like I plan on doing the Jay-Z route. Yeah. Mixed with Nipsey.
Ooh, yes.
Mixed with Kendrick too. Like I just want to make sure that because like the racism I see is really bad. Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I want to make sure that our neighborhoods are secure.
And buy back the block, like all those three rappers that you said always talk about.
By a black person, like I want to be able to hire like a black woman or a black man to like. If I'm like, I want you. I'm handing this to you. I'm giving this to you, and make sure you like you take care of this and make sure like no funny business going on. Like make sure this is perfect as it is. Like make sure you uplift everybody else. Make sure these kids go to school. Make sure everybody gets the education they need. Be honest with you.
And I respect that because I feel like you're getting that mission of what the Black Panthers wanted, you know what I mean? Of like not only us owning stuff, but us like feeling, liberated in our skin, in our environment, in our world. And I think that's really incredible to hear, especially from young artists like you, because like when you mentioned like Jay-Z, Nipsey, and Kendrick, all three of those artists have done that, you know what I mean? And are continuing to do that. Even if they're, have transitioned to being an ancestor, like the work that they've done is so monumental and it has impacted the community in such a great way that I think that's beautiful that you have that aspiration, and we're just going to put it into the universe that it's gonna happen because it needs to happen.
Oh, no, it's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna do that. Like there's no other way of me saying. Like once I get my foot in the music industry door, like that's what I'm doing. Like I want to make sure. I want to be able to, those white neighborhoods where people know everybody. I want my neighborhood. I want every neighborhood to be like that. Like everybody knows everybody. Like
I want that too because I like when you were talking about earlier about Boston and unfortunately I think there's some artists that try. Like I would say at least the artists that's been on our show have talked about how they've tried to be more collaborative and everything, but they also talk about the pressures and they talk about how our city is very cliquey and it's small, and it's like we're already such a small place that we shouldn't even be cliquey like that. We should really be empowering and uplifting each other,
which I don't understand. I'm like, if I see that as so small, how in the are we not so collective as Atlanta? Like we have a small city, which means we should be just as collective and just as much as Atlanta. Like I never understood, like, how the hell did Maryland, and I love Maryland artists, but how the hell they blow, like, I thought Maryland was the worst, but even they got people. I was like, all right, if Maryland got people, that means we are literally at the bottom.
It's because we're not supporting each other like we should, you know what I mean? Like, really supporting each other, because sometimes I feel like some people support you only when you're hot, you know what I mean? Like, when you're popping, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, we should really, and I think a lot of people do this in general, but when it comes to artists, you have to respect their caterpillar stage, I like to call it, you know what I mean? Before they become the big butterfly and they're out here just spreading their wings and doing their thing, like embrace that caterpillar stage, encourage them so they could really blossom, you know what I mean? So I admire everything that you're saying. So Aaron, like, I'm glad that you spoke those aspirations, those affirmations of things you want to do, but I wanted the audience to kind of learn more about you, because like listening to your music, you hear your stories and everything that you were saying in terms of like telling you, like saying your truths and your background and everything that's happening in your environment, it's in your music. But I wanted to ask you, like since it's a Friday, it's like a flashback Friday, so let's just throw it back a few years ago, right?
Go ahead.
I want to like take it back to when you first discovered your love for music, particularly hip-hop. Like, what made you so drawn to this genre, and were there any artists that you looked up to that are living, or an ancestor that made you be like, man, I want to be like him or her or it or whatever?
Yes. Oh my goodness. The first time I ever discovered hip hop, even though my father and I are not really like close, that's due to reasons, but he's the reason why. Like, he's the reason why I discovered hip hop. At the end of the day, like, he would bump KRS-One and he was like, yo, this dude, like,
oh my gosh, KRS-One.
Yeah, I go back in the 80s. I started in the 80s.
No wonder your music is so dope. KRS-One is legendary, and he's raw.
One of the best MCs, he's one of the most best MCs hand down. So KRS-One, Run DMC, my boy CL Smooth, Pete Rock. Like, I can go further than that, but like KRS-One, Method Man, Redman, who are like two of my most favorite. Like, I think underrated. Like, it's very underrated that the Blackout album is not big on the joint albums. Like, people would say, oh yeah, this. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta put the Blackout up there. Method Man, Redman killed it. Like, they
especially
the late 90s, the early 2000s. no one was topping them two. Like
nobody. You're all
like,
I need to get by. I'm just thinking about Wu-Tang. Like, I mean, it wouldn't even be like this genre would never be possible without those artists. Like those artists gave a lot more, like their voices and their stories and their rawness, especially, is what made hip hop what it is. Rakim is one of my favorites. Like I don't know, just the best. Like everything you're saying, I'm glad you started at the birth of hip hop, because I mean it really started like in the 70s and stuff, but when it became like mainstream in the 80s, I think that's so like admirable that you looked up to those artists.
I feel like that's when style came into play, because obviously hip hop started in the 70s, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, I started in the 80s because that's my pops was playing in the 80s. He was like, yo, this is Q. I know Ice Cube's music. I know about KRS-One, Eric B. and Rakim, CL Smooth, Pete Rock, freaking what's it called? I can't think of everyone on the top of my head right now. But Redman's Muddy Waters.
Yes,
I love Redman.
Yes.
Waters.
Oh,
the Cow, Mobb Deep, and yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're naming all the people that I wish were more mainstream like now, because they had their no doubt they had like their shine and everything, but I feel like when we think about hip hop, we only think about like the most popular people.
Well, that's not our fault though. That's not our fault. That's the masses' fault. You know, once and a lot of y'all gonna hate hearing this, but this is very true. Once the white people started coming into hip hop, they wanted to focus on looks and popularity, where it was supposed to be about the lyrics and the stories that people was telling.
Yeah. It was like our therapy. It was like our tool to tell our stories and everything. And you're so right. As soon as it became, you know, like like when the white people took it over, or the mainstream, we like to call it, they controlled everything, image, messages, especially. So a lot of times, like I know people complaining, like, oh, hip hop, especially the older people, I think they kind of see hip hop as just like a negative thing, because it's so filled with a lot of, you know, sexism and all sorts of bad stuff and violence and all that. But I don't think a lot of people understand that it's a marketing tool as well. So it's gonna they want to sell what's gonna sell, and unfortunately bad stuff sell.
If you come that environment, one thing people don't understand, rap stands from rhythm and poetry, RAP, rap, rhythm and poetry. At the end of the day, if they're rapping about that, even though the younger generation is probably just rapping about it because they hear it, they don't know about it, they never lived their lifestyle, so they just rapping just to rap. But people who actually have lived their life, they only rapping about what they know. But they're not saying, they're not telling you to do it. They're not telling you to do the drugs.
Exactly,
what they did. They're telling what they did.
It's on their realities. Yeah.
But the white people know how to manipulate that and make it seem like, yeah, this is what's gonna sell and all that. Like, no, they don't talk. Think about it. Think about it. We all grew up, most of us grew up in the hood in Boston. I grew up around like saying like bitches on that, but then it took me a while to understand, like, you know what? It's more than like that's what they want us to treat our people like that. They want us to treat everybody like that. But and I grew out of that. Like I still have tendencies where I can get like that, but like I'm aware of that at the end of the day. So like, the older generation needs to understand like it's not the youth's fault like that. It's not.
It's
we
not.
don't control it. We don't control. Yeah, it's our reality. So at the end of the day, you call that music trash. They only live in their environment. So are you calling your environment trash as well?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot, and especially if we think about like the early start of hip hop, a lot of those artists did not own anything. And I think that's why, you know, artists like Prince and, you know, other artists made it such a goal to make sure they own what they have, and, you know, they have more control of what is being put out there and stuff. So yeah, right. I think it's just, you know, it's a lot of misunderstanding. And I feel like if, like, you know, the older generation, younger generation have more that intergenerational dialogue, they would be able to understand each other's worlds a little bit more and why we express ourselves the way we do. So I'm glad that you kept that honest and that you were listening to all those OGs of like hip hop, those like legendary people, you know.
Yeah, get further, because Pac taught me how to be honest.
Yeah, Pac is
he taught me how to be honest. Kerouac taught me how to be true, and Pete Rock and CL Smooth did too, because like a lot, those are so underrated people. Like a lot of people don't know, like CL Smooth and Pete Rock are dope. Like Eric B. and Rakim, but I like fuck with Eric B. and Rakim. I know you might not this, but I'm more of a Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Like I bought Painful back to back to back, but when it comes to like they made albums, like it wasn't just like 2-minute tracks every song. Like in the 80s and 90s, every song was like 4 minutes, 3 minutes. It
was long. You're like, woo, man, I've been dancing for a minute now.
Right, and they started I think CL Smooth and Pete Rock, well, they didn't start, but that's what I remember anyways, that Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Eric B. and Rakim did the like rap, but there was no chorus, but because the beat just wrote it sometimes, like there'll be no chorus, it'll just be the beat, and then it'll come back in, like that beat was the chorus, that transition was the chorus, instead of them doing the hook, which I always thought that was cool. I was like, oh, like that's different, you know,
it
like,
is.
but no one does that anymore, but like, I don't do that. There's sometimes I may do it, and sometimes I may not do it, but like, I took what they was, you know, what they were rapping about and what they was doing and contributed in my own music.
And I love that because, and you could see it like as soon as
Slick Rick,
man, that's the ultimate storyteller. And I think that's what I see in your music is all of that. Like, I'm glad that you were able to express that with our audience, because when they listen to your music, they will see the storytelling, they will see the rawness, they will see you talking about your environment where you grew up. And I really admire your vulnerability on the, you know, on all of your projects that you've put out. And like, before we like, you know, talk about the individual projects, like, I want to ask you, because like becoming an artist, right, is both like exciting and very scary, because it's like, you know, you're entering into an industry that could either, you know, like make you and like, you know, really challenge you and, you know, make you very successful, or it could break your spirit, because again, at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of like it's like a system. They have to like make you what they want you to be. You know what I mean? What's going to be sellable. And so right. I know you talked a little bit about that on some projects that I've been listening to. And I wanted to ask you, like, when did you decide to take on the artist journey, and how did you find your voice while doing so? Because I know you're still on the journey, but like when I look at your first EP in 2017 compared to this one, I've obviously seen a lot of growth, and it seems like you got a lot more confident. But I want to know, like, what made you decide, like, okay, I'm listening to all these artists, I love that, why now I want to be an artist? Like, when did you decide to be an artist? How has the journey been so far, and how did you find your voice?
Yo, so I always did poetry in elementary school. I just never shared it. And then it's funny thing, because I met my cousin in middle school, but me and him didn't know we was cousins until like later. But me and him just clicked like that, like it was nothing. We met in the same middle school. I mean, we both went to summer school together, because you know, bad kids are bad kids. But
yeah.
Met him in school. He was doing music too. He was we both talking about rap so much, and I think that's how we connected. Me and him was just always talking every day. Come to find out, me and him go to Walgreens. We see both our cousins, but we didn't know that it was our cousin. He's like, I was like, oh,
yo, it's like a reunion. Like, oh, you my cousin too? You my cousin?
Yeah, as they were happy. We was like, oh shit, it's like it makes it even better now. So it made it better. His older brother, my older cousin, was making music as well. And then I remember once, like, I was writing something. He was like, yo, cuz you need to drop some like music. He actually encouraged me to drop music. Cause I'm an introvert. I'm very insecure. Still to this day, I'm still learning how to get out of the insecurities, you know, but that's a work in progress at the end of the day. But as you grow,
you get more and more confident, and your music, right, it allows you to, like, you know, share your stories and grow and push yourself. So I'm proud of you.
Like I know a lot of people say like that it's like a certain specific artist, but he like was one of the main reasons why, like, because he was always there for me since the beginning. Like no matter what I did, he always supported me. Like no matter what my decision was, he's always had my back. So like he was the main reason. And then I remember I went to high school. Like me and went to the same high school as well when I got expelled. And that's another. Actually, I mentioned that in in my first project. But you know, but got expelled. Then I went to the same schools. He was like, yo, you should go to school. They have this lounge, all that. I was like, okay, cool, I'll pull up. I go there. It was like this lyricist lounge. And he was like, yo, he raps, and put me on the spot. So
what? Like right then and there?
He gave me that push. I needed it. So I was like, oh. So then I rapped to the Rock Wilder.
Oh, nice.
Rap Man Meth the Rock Wilder, and I did it. And then, yo, it was the funniest moment. I thought, now I'm like, oh, it's about to be trash. They about to roast me, all this. I'm just gonna get this over with. And they loved it, and I was just like, oh. And I was just
yes, like, oh, actually, okay, I think people could mess with this. This is awesome.
But to be honest, if we go further back than that, what actually encouraged me even more, but this is because I met him in like 2008, 2009. But do you remember back then it was that perfect MP3s? You get the disc and all that on the big old folder. My brother had the Kens, like he got the leaks of like Friday Night Lights, the warm up.
Oh, J. Cole and all those people. Wow.
Kendrick, he put me on those people, and it was like, and then he was like, yo, bro, I need to sit down and listen to this. He put in the he got it. He put in. He's like, yo, this dude's called J. Cole.
Yeah, J. Cole is amazing.
Yeah, because I already knew about Kanye West and all that, and all those other people, right? But Jake, it was just different. It was something that was like, yo, this dude saying he never done none of the stuff, like the bad stuff, and he still is like that. That showed me that I can do it. Kendrick too was like, yo, those two showed me the song specifically that showed me that I can actually do this was Before I'm Gone by J. Cole. I know every song on Friday Night Lights by heart to this
Yes.
day.
Hopefully you've been able to see him perform live. He's amazing. Both of them.
I'm going to. I hope to have him on a song with me. I'm going to have a song with him one day. But,
oh yeah, we putting that into the universe. That's gonna happen.
But I would love to see him live too. But like I would love to just like tell him like, yo, bro, like you and Kim, like, yo, y'all really did this. Like,
yeah, they're like my favorites mainstream right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like they really are.
But even see, my thing is like even Drake too. Like he showed me how to the emotional part. Like, you feel me? And Cole and Kim, they show the emotional part, but Drake showed more of like the sad part.
Yeah, the vulnerability as a man that they don't talk about often. That's why I love Drake. I'm like, I know people be hating on him, but I'd be like, you just hate him because you ain't him.
Room for improvement. Freaking comeback season. Freaking J. Cole's warm up, the come up, even before the come up, the warm up Friday Night Lights. Kendrick Lamar EP, C4, Overly Dedicated, Section 80. I was all in that. Big Crit. Like I was into all those people. I was just like, yo, all these these four are really like pushing this agenda. Like you can be vulnerable and still tell stories and not do the lifestyle, but you can be around that lifestyle.
I'm glad that you said that because I think hip hop, especially now, is starting to open up a lot more, which I appreciate. Not only in terms of like, you know, content, like, you know, men being more vulnerable and talking about their feelings and talking about things that, you know, a lot of us go through but don't like, you know, talk about, like mental health and all that, which you talk about in your projects as well. But also I love that hip hop now is like even being more open to like, you know, queer artists and being more open to like, you know, women, like, you know, like it's starting to open up more and be more inclusive. And I love that because I feel like before, even though it was amazing, it was great, it seemed like there was like only one type. It was more like heterosexual men who are like from like the nitty gritty, like in the streets. And I feel like now it's opening up more.
I feel like West Coast opened that up a lot and down South opened that a lot. Like there's still a few MCs, like don't get me wrong. Queen Latifah is one of my favorite, Lauryn Hill, Rhapsody. I think Rhapsody, hands down, male. Like
she's amazing.
Artist as a whole, she's one of the best male and female. Like
for sure. Down. Like, I think she needs to get more hype, like more credit because I don't know. She's just so amazing.
She never dropped a bad project. Never dropped a bad project. She's a beast. Like
she is. Lyricism especially. Like oh my
lyricism, like, and that's, you know, and when it comes to, like you said, when it comes to the queer MCs, all that, like I'm glad that's finally getting pushed and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of undercover gay artists that a lot of people don't know,
and they're amazing.
And they're dope. A lot of people don't even know that they're gay or bisexual. I'm like, that's a lot. There's a lot of them like this, like, but y'all just don't know. It just they don't hit the limelight.
And I'm glad that you talked about the West Coast, and obviously, you know, they've been very influential to you. So I kind of wanted to ask you about that. I'm not sure if I know you said you visited LA, which is awesome during this pandemic to be able to travel.
No, not LA. It was East. So a lot
the Bay Area.
The Bay Area, NorCal, not SoCal.
So like, I wanted to ask you, like, you know, I don't know if you've been able to visit before or like, you know, because like when I listen to your music, right, like I get a little bit of that influence. Like I feel very chill and very just happy and like almost like it feels like a never-ending visual album. And in my visual album, when I'm listening to like your latest project, Pollen, I feel like I'm just cruising, chilling, like life is so good. And I'm like, this is really remind me of like the West Coast, you know, like type of mood and vibes and stuff. So did that, like, before you got to visit, you know, the Bay Area, did you like always want to incorporate some of that influence in your music?
Yes, I wanted to incorporate every style into my music. Every coast, because I feel like Boston's have a sound. Because every Boston artist so far, and this is me being honest. Well, not majority. My team doesn't rap like anybody else, but majority of the Boston artists, whether they're pumping or not, their style is from another. It's from another state. They don't have their own style. It's from either Chicago or Atlanta, or like that gritty. Like I'm like, well, not even gritty. It's just more like the street from Chicago, street from Detroit. It's like they don't have their own style. For me, I was like, I wanted to incorporate every style from every coast in my music. That's why my first project is more like the upcoming, like you still get lyrics, but also you still get the style. Like you get that style. My second project is more East Coast, but also that funk and jazz in there.
Yes,
I give you every point of that. And Pollen was more. I want to incorporate that summer vibe in every song, which is why every song on there, I wanted to have a summer vibe, a certain, and what's more summer than West Coast.
Just West Coast, exactly. That's exactly what you think of. I wanted to talk about your first like EP and kind of see like the transition between that. Because like, so your first EP is entitled The World is a Hideous Piece of Art, right? And I really love this album, by the way. And in the album you talk about a variety of topics such as like mental health, the effects of poverty, and like it seems like the ongoing struggles of finding balance, because like as I'm going through the track, it seems like, you know, you're talking about like, you know, what's going on in your world, but like also really wanting to just feel like still and feel that peace and kind of want to feel balance whatever is going on and what you're talking about. So I kind of wanted to ask you, like, why was it important for you to kind of talk about, you know, these issues? Like you are very vulnerable, and I think especially to come out with your first EP and be that vulnerable is not always, especially in hip hop, is not like, it's hardly, it's not really seen. Like normally people get more vulnerable when they've been in the game for a while, but for you to like start off with that, like I personally love that, because I feel like you weren't afraid to tell us who you are and what you're going through, and a lot of things you're going through so many people go through, you know what I mean? Like when you're talking about like, you know, another word for depression, I'm like mind blown.
Look here, I'm so depressed. My mama said don't stress, but I'm not sad. I shall not rest until I go invest. Yeah, ain't got no job, I gotta make amends. Why
was it important for you to release your first EP with these messages and to be so vulnerable? And were you scared at all?
I wasn't scared to drop it, but I was scared that I was going to kill myself because of the fact that I didn't have no outlet. Like I said, I never felt like I had a voice growing up. And like during 2017, like one of the most hardest times of my life. Like I had hard times. Like this was just like, it's just like I felt like I had nothing. Like I lost everything. I literally felt like I lost everything. And like I wrote the whole project within a week. I told my boy, I was just like, yeah, my brother Devin, actually, he's also a dope singer. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm going through it. He was like, he was like, yo, bro, I'm gonna ride with you. Like at the end of the day, like he was there for me. Like, and as a gay black man, that means a lot to me. That song, like he understands, like, yo, it's hard.
Yeah, for sure.
So he understands how hard it was. I was going through all the stuff, like at home stuff. That's like E-Star stuff. Like I even was reminiscing on like my past. I'm like, damn, yo, like I'm still even doing in my life, and I want to make music. I don't have no one wants to help me with this. No one wants to do this with me. Like I'm just gonna write each song every day, and whatever one. And I wrote at least about 16 songs, but only 11 I think made it to
the album.
Made it to the project, and that was just my therapy. Music has always been my therapist. So like instead of just listening to it, I wanted to finally tell my own story. So like the vulnerability meant nothing to me. I just wanted to tell my story, want to be heard, like so people understand what I'm going through. And after I recorded every song, I felt so relieved. Like it felt like a release. It was like, okay, I finally have everything I want on here. Each song, that's why each song has a different vibe to it. Each one, like my favorite track on that project is Medication.
I should have made this a poem. My life is low-key but boring. I got a family that's coming. I gotta make a transition, get my life together and get the money I need. Picture a mom and he's stuck in the box, feeling so compressed, and people laughing, pointing, crying as he's crying, screeching, asking for some help, but they don't hear him until he pulverizes.
Yes.
Because that literally is talking about, like, that's why the high pitched do re mi, which is me rapping that do re mi fa sol la.
I like that.
That's me, like doing repetitive. It's like the repetitiveness in your mind, like that repetitiveness, like what's going on through your head, like trying to calm down. Because you know, like in singers do do re mi fa sol, like it gets higher, or low. Like if you notice, it's very monotone with it.
Yeah, it's just like do re mi, and you got it in the little like no, but it keeps going.
Exactly, that's my mind literally running through my head, going like that. And that's just, I should have made this a poem, like. It's me talking about like this is how I feel. That's why the voice is deep, which is my natural. No auto-tune is used in the whole project so far.
Yeah.
Like, I try to shy away from auto-tune because I want people to understand my emotion through my voice, so you can feel it.
Yeah, and I love that. I feel like you've done an incredible job. I feel like I'm listening to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no filter or anything. Like this is the real you.
and that's what I want to say. That's that song Medication was like literally like one of my most emotional songs. This project for me was emotional for me, but also for other people. It's just like other people telling me their stories, and like it made me think. And I was like, yo, like this is what I want to do. And they ones who told me to do it. And a lot of them, some of them are dead. You know, some of them are not here right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta tell their stories.
Of course,
and I gotta tell my own stories.
Yeah, and I first of all, I just want to thank you for sharing that with us and being vulnerable to share, you know, that challenge and transition in your life, and you know, not only like share what you were going through, but put that in an album. You know what I mean? And I really want people to understand the brilliance and the genius behind doing that, because you could have spoke about this, you could have wrote something and it would have been good, but I think that what's brilliant is that you're able to put this in music and make it like tasteful, like raw. It's sad, it has so many emotions, but the beat and like the production of every project is amazing. And I want to ask you, like, you know what I mean? Like if we were in a laboratory or whatever, and we wanted to know the science behind, you know, making an Aaron Bates, you know, track, album or whatever, like what do you look for? Because the production to me is always amazing. Like beside the lyricism, which I know is going to be raw, it's going to be dope, it's, you know what I mean, like your flow, like you have, you know, your particular style, even though you have all these influences. But like when you're in that zone, when you're like, I want to make something, I want to create a new track or whatever, like what's in your laboratory? What's the science behind it?
Some days it could take months, it could take a year, it could take years. Honestly, it all depends on how I feel at the moment. Like at the end of the day, a lot of times I don't know what I'm writing. Like a lot of times I write and I don't know where it comes from. Like, there's a lot of words that in it that I didn't know were real words, and then I look up the definition of the word and I'm like, oh, this is a real word, and I actually use it correctly. So, nice. But for me, it's more of like, do I feel right? Do I feel right about this? How do I feel? Like, what mood do I want to go for this project? Like, I'm gonna break down each project individually. The first one, the world is his piece of art. The reason I was called that is because the world is beautiful, but I'm going through so much struggle in this beauty.
Yes.
And that's why it's like half my face. Which cover art was done by my homegirl, Erica. Amazing. Like she drew me.
Beautiful.
And then she was like she drew. I remember I was sitting down. She drew. She's like, I just don't like. I can't finish it. I was like, nah, this is dope. I actually want it like that.
Yeah.
So then I colored it like that. It's beautiful, but like half my face.
Yeah, and
down.
I like that it looks like it's on a notepad, because I feel like, you know, and I think that's beautiful too, because when you're going through things, or like say, like other artists have shared, like say you have an idea, you just write it quickly on a notepad, like it feels authentic, like it feels like, you know, we was right there with you when you were making this track and you wrote it on it, and then it's just it's beautiful.
So each small project, I kind of like an act, but they are like an act in my life. So like after the world hit piece of art, the last one, Disastrous, you go into No Forgiven. Which is, I tell a lot of people, before you go on a project, just remember it's called No Forgiven for a reason. For a reason. So each song is like questioning your own beliefs, and my own beliefs as well. I'm questioning. I make sure like you question your own beliefs, question life, question everything around you, question yourself being black, question yourself being white, question everything. Because I'm calling out a lot of things. Question yourself as a sex worker, question yourself as a gay person or a lesbian.
But I think it's good to have those conversations that kind of challenge people. And if whatever you like, you know, that's your business. But I think we have to definitely, you know, be careful of what we're projecting out there, and you know what I'm saying, and also respecting other people. So it's good that you challenge that, because that can make other people think, no matter how they identify.
All my music I have is for a reason. Like I'm not just like everything I rap about is, I'm not being rude. It's literally just me just expressing myself and my
thoughts.
And my thoughts and conversations I have with people.
Love's real, lust real, I'm real, I don't see it still. I'm real, die real, God's real, I don't believe still. We could talk about it all day, doesn't mean I'ma change my mind. Retrace your steps, retrace regrets. Bad track, back burner.
Yeah.
And that's why the second track is called Abel's Public Announcement, which is I do a series of songs like that. Abel's Public Announcement, Abel Speaks.
Who is Abel? Is Abel like your alter ego or something?
So Abel was my first artist name.
Okay.
Yeah, so my OG fans will know this. Like
okay. Because I seen it on your Instagram, and I was like, is that like I was thinking of like Nicki Minaj, you know how she has her little alter ego, and like some people do. So I was like, is that?
Think of it like Kendrick and K-Dot.
Okay.
It's like that. It's like the OG fan, like, oh, this is Abel.
Yeah, that's K-Dot, yeah. And then
yeah, like, no, he's dropping like Abel now. Like he's not giving a about anything right now. This is like when I like he's not good, but also like because he's gonna speak his mind, but also have truth behind what he's talking about, and he's gonna question you. He's going to Pollen.
Which is your latest EP that you dropped, which project. I really love. So like so this is like Act 3 basically, right? So I'm, I got introduced to Act 3, so obviously I'm all about the vibes right now.
A lot of people have.
So and I'm chilling. I'm loving it. I'm like, and I said this in an email to you, but I want to tell you and the audience again that when you listen to it, like, this pandemic, like it changes your mood and your emotions and, your reality, unfortunately. And like, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I've been scared because I'm just like, I don't know how the future's gonna look like. And I'm used to that, like being, especially like a working artist, I'm used to not really knowing, like, maybe, I don't know how next month's gonna look financially or whatever.
Right.
But like with the pandemic, it's like even more scary. And so like, I had like probably 2 weeks of like isolation when I was kind of like, all right, I'm not trying to get back into this depression mode. So I was like, yo, let me just listen to, like, let me feed my soul some goodness. So I put your album on, right? Because I saw it on Instagram and I was like, yo, I should have been like reached out to Aaron, but now that I see it, let me listen to this project.
You were late on this.
I was late. I apologize, but
you should have been calling, bro.
I know I should have been, but I came back. At least I kept my word, So I came back and I put the album on, and I'm just like, I totally forgot my problems. Like I totally forgot like what I was worried about. You know what I mean? With my anxiety, whatever. And I'm just listening to it, and I'm almost like, I feel like it was like a visual album in my mind. That usually happens anytime I listen to a track. I almost like make up the music video in my mind. But like I'm listening, yeah. It's like that's just how I am. Like I just very visual, especially if like if the track gives me that feeling, then I feel like I'm just in my own world. And I'm so grateful that you made Pollen Act 3. I like to say.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, because it's just it brought me so much joy, and it made me feel like I was still having a dope ass summer, even though we're limited to what we could do because of COVID-19. And so thank you, number one.
Thank you for listening. And I'm actually going to explain this project now. So this one is like a huge, like, this one is literally summertime in Boston, being the summer in Boston. So if you notice in the first track was titled Summer, which I created the track. I created that whole transition and all that. That track, if you notice, it's like this starts with the flute in the beginning, and then you hear and then you hear the second track in the first intro of it. Like you hear the intro in the first track. In the background, muffled a little bit. But you hear kids playing. You hear
it's like people, a cookout. It's almost like a cookout.
You hear kids playing. You hear the cookout. You hear people fighting. You also, if you pay attention, you hear people fighting. You hear the people smoking.
Everything you would hear in a Boston summer, like if you're at least in the inner city. People fighting, people arguing, people laughing, people are having fights, gangs. Like you hear everything in there. You hear dogs barking, police sirens. So, and then that's where it goes. So literally the intro track is literally every track list on there. That's beautiful.
Every track list. So once you go into What's Good Summer, it's like, okay, now it's summer. So What's Good Summer? Like now it's summertime. Me talking about what's happening in the summertime. Like,
and how excited you get. Or even like the track when you're talking about like, you got off work or you're on your way to work. And I'm just like, I felt like I was on my way to work. I'm like, man, I really want to work, but I'm going to get this money. I'm going to be jamming.
Exactly.
Like,
but
Romulate, hit go, Romulate, and get low, 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 Romulate, hit go, Romulate. Get up for work, 9 to 5, be up in the morning, let's get this money, walk OG, I help the homies, what it is, you know what that means, guaranteed, stop packing the heat, let's flip the beans, stop packing the weed, let's roll, my nigga, let's go, my plan is in fold, the whiteys don't know.
Sounds funny because I'm going to break that one down too. That's actually the ignorance in summertime. Like the hood people in the summertime was like, for them, that's a summer job for them. Sometimes when they make the most moves.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, and that's where it goes to What's Good Summer, the kid summer. When I'm taking you back to my past, to my past as being a kid in the summer. That's why I talk about the corner store and all that. Like I'm taking you a little journey in my life. And like, then it goes to summer job where now I'm older and the ignorance got to me. And also it's like, it's telling someone else's story, but also also like me as well. It's like, I'm telling each song the story. So like, Yeah, so like it's called, and I'm explaining what it's called Pollen Tune once I finish each track, right? So it's going to be dope to me anyway. So summer job is like being the ignorance in the hood. The first verse is like, all right, get up for work 9 to 5. Like your 9 to 5 is the streets. Like your 9 to 5 is like, all right, to get this money, sell this bud, all that. Like get everything that you need. Like get what you need. And the second verse is like the street. And it's just like, yo, I'm about that life. At the end of the day, like you come this way, you're getting got.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, because that's the reality,
It's the reality. It's the reality. And that's what I want to bring. And after that is Late Summer Drive, which is like,
oh man, I love those.
Yeah. So Late Summer Drive is someone who's going to an argument with a significant other, like the female, and then you leave out of summer, like do that late night summer skirt, like I'm leaving, you slam that door, you let that skirt so they can know you're
serious. Dramatic leave,
yeah, you're mad leave, so then when they hear that skirt, they know you're serious. Like, oh, they gone, they like, oh, they're dead ass serious. Like
I thought you were talking about Summer Drive, where it's like late night, you're driving from somewhere, you're like, this is nice, blah blah blah. But other Summer Drive is real as well.
Yeah, no, it's that, but that's why, and that's what I'm saying. Like it goes into that too as well. Like as I'm doing, I have these thoughts. That's why I was like, shorty tripping, how you stumble on an accident, like you seen something in the phone. Yeah, like you seen all this, like you're just trying to vibe. So that's what you're doing late summer day, you're just trying to vibe. And then that's what the second verse is, midnight, like the woos are like, calm down, it's all right, it's okay. You just had an argument. At the end of the day, you'll be all right at the end of the day. So late night summer drive, that's where the second verse ends like that. Like midnight mood, like just relax, it's gonna be all right. My life's a haiku, like it just gets into detail, like you know what, you have gone through these arguments before, you'll be fine, it's all right.
Yeah, and I love that.
And like I'm in my own constant thing about I'm trying to calm myself down while talking about what's going on with, like, that's what I mentioned about the government and all, like Uncle Sam keeps on calling distant relatives.
Oh yeah, student loans, all that stuff.
Yeah, like distant relative, Uncle Sam is a distant relative, only calls when they need something.
Yep.
Right.
Unfortunately, but it's good that you're talking about all those things, because that's a lot of our world. It's like the summer's so short too, but it's like a lot could happen within that season, within those few weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's so heightened, because it's nice out, so everybody's out, everybody want to make moves, like you said. So it's like so many different things happening at the same time for one person. And, imagine there's so many, like, times, whatever.
Exactly, and you actually almost got the point of the project, actually almost. But the second, and then after the late summer drive it's a chill summer, which is literally just someone. That's me, because I don't smoke.
Me either. I'm asthmatic, but if you do, that's your business. Drink water.
Nah, do what I do. Like, I'm not a smoker. I'm a cleaner.
Same.
So like that song, I was portraying someone who does smoke, like someone who does smoke, and like before I released it, I sent a couple people who smoke like on a date, stoners, and they was like, yo, you did with this.
Just to get approval, just to see, like, is this something you would vibe to if you were, doing what you're doing? No,
exactly. I want to make sure like the story's legit, because I don't want to lie. I don't want to make this up. So it's like, let me just send a couple of stoners to see if this is legit. And they was like, yo,
tested it. No, that's true entrepreneurship. You got to test the product with the audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
and
if I was a smoker, I would be in it. But even if without a smoker, like, I'm just chilling. Yeah, I'm still vibing.
You still vibe with it. You still vibe it. And then the fact that every smoker I've ever sent to, they was like, yo, the fact that you did this and you don't smoke weed is crazy. Like, there's like, on the point. There's like, yo, you nailed it to the point. Like,
you really did, though.
And like smoking, this is a chill vibe in the summertime. And mind you, each event's happening all at the same time, just different points.
Okay.
So, literally, so like that's why you hear the flute in the background, you're floating, like you're actually polling with me. Like, all this is happening. You're taking on this journey with me. So late summer drive is like being late night or sometime in Boston as well. Join yourself. It's a chill summer. You're smoking in your house. It's vibing in the summertime. You bring your girl over or your boyfriend over. You just having fun.
Yeah, you're relaxing.
Like, activate all of my consciously. Like, like I need to relax. Like, this is summertime. I don't need to have no stress.
Yeah, and at least for a moment, you know what I mean? And I think that's why it makes sense. Like, even though I'm not a smoker either, like, I get why so many people do it. Not only is it because it's like, it gets you out of the zone, but, it could get you out of your problems just for a minute. And it's not as, like, terrible as, like, other things out there, you know what I mean? So I get why people do it. So you making that track, even though that's not my lifestyle, like the chill vibes, I still get it. Like, it makes me forget about whatever is, blocking you or whatever.
And exactly, I wanted to bring the non-smokers and the smokers together to understand the point of view, what was going on when you, like, why some people smoke, why most people smoke, and at least in the Black community anyway, why they smoke.
Exactly. It's like a form of therapy for us.
Right.
Blue dream, northern lights, lavender, kosher, pink kush, we knows it. Blow L's past the time, ghost train, purple haze, bring me another strain. This is a wavy day. I'm gon' smoke tonight. Blue dream, northern lights, lavender, kosher, pink kush, we knows it. Blow L's past the time, ghost train, purple haze.
And then you get into Someone Porch Freestyle, which is actually I think is my favorite track on there because of like the vibe of it. It's more, the Someone Porch Freestyle is literally just like, you know, rapping in the, so like someone who sits on a porch and you're rapping with your homies on the someone porch, and like that's what
someone makes a beat like, and then you're like, and you just start spitting it, and it makes sense because your energy on there is just. By the way, I know you're gonna keep saying, you know, telling us about the track, which I appreciate, like going through the album, but like your style, like your delivery, right? It changes because sometimes you could get, I don't want to say lazy, but you know, like if someone's on the track and it's kind of like da 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 da, you know what I mean? Like kind of Slick Rick, like, you know, like a little lazy on the track. But then sometimes you come off like like hitting it, like, you know, like Method Man, or even like it kind of remind me of like Outkast, like just like da 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 da. No, you really give me Outkast vibes. I was like, yo, is he related? Like, I love Outkast, by the way, but like it kind of gives me some of that Southern grit. You know what I mean? Like like your delivery always changes. And so like I know you talked about finding your voice, but like how do I do
that? So I told my boys all the time, I never want to sound the same on no project. I always want to have a different
like K-Dot, because K-Dot be doing those voices and all that.
Yeah, like I don't want to sound the same. Like I never want to sound. I always want my cadence to be different. I want all songs, because like after I'm like, yo, that's gonna be boring. Like if I just sound to every song. So Someone Porch Freestyle was, I want to give you that but fun vibe what was going on. Like Someone Porch Freestyle is telling everybody what I'm going to do. Like if you like Someone Porch Freestyle is basically saying like what I'm about to do if you let me like be in the industry. Like if y'all support me as much as I want y'all to support me, trust me, like I'm gonna be the new, like that's basically me saying I'm going to be the new school. Like I'm about to be here for the long run. Like
I'ma hit a new groove, baby. I'ma call out. I'ma be the new school, baby. You gon' fall out. Cruising out of soup.
Yeah,
that's how I was like, yo, when I dropped that, I made that outside. Because I want to embrace the inner summer feel. Wow. So I made that one outside. So I made that outside. I was
come through porch, sit right on the porch. Like let's do it organically. Like this.
Yes, I wanted to feel that. And it took a couple of because there's like different versions of it. And I was like, this is the best version. Like this is the best version of this one. Because I want to bring that Southern Western vibe to this. And the reason I say Southern, because my family's from down south. My family's from Alabama and North Carolina. So I think that's
Fahrenheit TV.
Illowid Holler, where am I?
Yeah, love is in the colors, don't be colorblind. Seen the wonders in your butter and your cocoa lines. Oh, won't you tell us how you're thankful in the summertime? Won't you tell us how you're thankful in the summertime? Yeah, summertime, yeah, summertime. Won't you tell us how you thankful in the summertime?
Yeah. Hella melanated skin, would you look at that? I remember being young, I always hated that. If you wasn't butter pecan, then want you facts. I don't like the taste of Cajun, I don't want it black. It's ironic, cause they always singing songs by Pop. Blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, and summer's hot. Keep your head up, then mesh your flesh with the deeper roots. 10 years later, we're trending and how they love their hue. Curly hair, raw coconut oil, my shade, butter, baby cream. Rub it on your skin, skin is glowing like it's Afro sheen. I am not a common fling, look at me, an African cacao boy, get mighty C. Soak up the rich UV light, and now I'm Sunny D. I'ma quench your thirst with ease, you can call me Mr. He. Vibes no, vibes gon' rise up, this a color vibe, get that dye, we alive, medical to color
color schemes, we arrive.
Love is in the colors, don't be colorblind. Seen the wonders in your butter and your cocoa lines. Oh, won't you tell this how you're thankful in the summertime? Won't you tell this how you're thankful in the summertime? Yeah, summertime, yeah, summertime. Won't you tell us how you thankful in the summertime? Won't you tell us how you thankful in the summertime?
My son